よし、やるぞやるぞやるぞ。というわけで始まってるね。はい。というわけで皆様どうもこんばんは。性別不詳バーチャルサウンドクリエイターの金本京香と申します。本日もどうかよろしくお願いいたします。というわけで、始めていきましょう。ハーストーリーというゲームですね。今回のこのゲームはですね、事情聴取のね、映像を見て、いろいろ推理していこうのコーナーとなっております。よろしくお願いします。どうも、警察官の金本と申します。本日もどうかよろしくお願いいたします。画面が全部真っ黒のせいで、新しくこう作り直した背景っていうか、配信画面だと全部真っ黒になるんだよな。おや、なんでしょうこれは。ログイン名。あ、クリック音がする。検索ワード殺人って書いてあるね。これ検索すればいいの？3つの映像が出てきた。11秒。タグ。
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
はい。なるほどね。これが1個目。2個目
Yeah, that's me. But February, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
サイモンの殺人と何の関係が？サイモンっていう文字が出てきたね。サイモンが殺された人かな？そうなると2ヶ月前、
I'd like to speak to a lawyer
5
now.
月の話かな。
You have no murder weapon.
凶器もなければ証拠もない。
And all these
ここで
stories
話さ
you've
れ
been
てる
telling
ことは
each
み
other.
んな
Just that.
ただの作り話だもの。
Stories.
作り話か。 MPEG、MPEG MPEG なんだね。6月27日から、4月1日のやつがあって、3月7日。殺人っていうキーワードが入ってるビデオがここに引っかかってるって感じなのかな。じゃあサイモン、ありきたりだけどちょっとサイモンって入れてみるか。結構出て52個アクセスできるのは最初から5番目までのクリップです。そうなんだ。じゃああんまり期待できなさそうだね。
Simon Smith.
サイモン・スミス。
He works at Ernst Brothers Glass.
ガラス会社、アーンストブラザーズ。
Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows, artistic things.
はあ、なるほど。
Really beautiful things.
アーティスティックな仕事をしてる。ガラスの会社なんだね。
It's the Rockington Arms. The Rock.
ザ・ロック。
It's
ピ
run
ー
by
タ
a
ー・
nice
スーさん。
couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes
常
to
連だ
keep
った。
with, and the barmaid they're having some.
ヘレン・デムス。いっぱい出てきた。
Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
ふむふむ。セッションに放送できるんだ。
There's an Amstrad one.
アムストラットの
No
パ
one
ソコン。
uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Sign them
時
sometimes.
々ゲームやってゲーマーなんだね。
You know, climb the tower. Save
94年塔に登ってお姫様を救うようなやつ。ファミコンあったかな、そんなゲーム。ドルアーガの塔とか。
Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him.
あ、この時点で
There
は
must have been some kind of accident.
まだ殺人されてないってか失踪って感じなのかな。
Thanks. Please find Simon. I love him so much.
うん。婚姻関係？結婚してる？夫婦の関係かなこれ。あ、履歴がある。一応。あ消せるわ。これ消した方が見やすいよね。仕方ないけどこれ消そう。元、どうも元です。こんばんは。いらっしゃい。ゆっくりしていてね。さて、何がいいかな。ザロック。ザロックっていう、ちょっと気になるな。はい。42秒。
So,
金曜の夜に口論をして彼が出て行った。
we had an argument. He
Huh.
left. On Saturday, he didn't come back.
エリック、いっぱい人の名前出てくるな。これ、タグっていうとこ
I
ろ
was
で、
supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon.
なんかやった方がいいな。彼が来ないってエリックで電話で言って
So
て、
Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock. That's our local.
地元の店
He
に
said they'd seen him on
金曜の
Friday
夜に
night,
来たら
but
しい
not
けど、
since. He still wasn't back this morning.
土曜日になっても帰ってこなくて、
Still not back by dinner time. It's getting
帰
dark
ってこないか
again.
ら、
So I decided to come see him.
なるほどね。
His parents haven't heard anything either.
うん。だから、金曜がいつかわかんないけど、金曜から、まあ土曜の間にかけて失踪したって感じかな。
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went.
うん。行き先について知ってるかも。
So many things could have gone wrong. It's the Rockington Arms.
ピーターとスーザン。
It's run by a nice couple.
ピーター、スーザン、ヘレン。あれこれ開業できないのかな。開業できないっぽい。はい。ピーター、スーザン、ヘレン。あと誰だっけ、エリックが出てきたよね。会社の名前もわかんないな。じゃあちょっとピーター調べてみるか。ピーター。あ、これだけなんだ。じゃああんまりだね。スーザン。これもこれだけ。じゃあ、これも関係ないのかな。あ、あるわ、ヘレン。
No. I think he spoke to Helen.
ヘレンに口論のこ
He
とを
said he
話して
was
みたい。
upset about her
口
argument.
論。
I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes
ブロンドの女が好きなの。なるほどね。髪色に対するってやつ。口論。10個のクリップ見つかった。
There's no couple stuff. A stupid argument. Nothing specific.
特別なものじゃない。
No one knows how to push your buttons better than
はい
those
はいはい
you used to.
夫婦関係なんだね、やっぱり。さて。
No.
確か
I
に
mean,
口論は
yes,
し
we
たけ
have
ど、
arguments, but he never
いつもなら
comes off.
必ず彼は戻ってき
He
て、
always comes back. We make up.
最後には仲直りしてた。
It's always that way.
いつもならって感じか。
Yes. He left after the argument. It was about 8 o'clock.
8時くらい。8時ちょうどの朝に号で、私はあなたから。なんだっけ、あと。会社の名前出てきたやつ。どれだっけ。
Simon.
これじゃないな。これかな。
Yes. There's an abstract one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games. You know.
アムストラットは、なんだ？メーカーの名前か？これ関係ないか。
Thanks. Simon.
あれどれだ？どれだ？会社の名前出てきたやつ。
Simon.
これか。
Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers
アーン
Glass.
ストガン、
They do windows,
アーンストブラザー
all
ズ
kinds of
ガラ
glass.
ス会社。
Simon does the more special work. Mirror making,
鏡。
feature windows, artistic things.
鏡で出てくるかな。あー、結構出てくる。13。
My name is Hannah.
Hannah.
H-A-N-N-A-H.
あ、この人の名前ね。
Andre.
前から書いても後ろから書いてもスペルが解文の名前なん
He
だ。
doesn't work for Mirror, though. It's not
左
quite
右対称
as
じゃないから
much.
鏡に移しちゃう
You get
と、
the idea.
なるほどね。
Hannah Smith. I live at 31
プラスミ
Gadsden
ス、グラッ
Street.
ドストーンストリート。グラッドストーン。グラッドストーン点なかったっけ？花さん。
It wasn't the present so much. It
コ
was
ロ
one
の
of
理
those
由はプレ
arguments
ゼン
that
トじゃな
had
くて
been
前々から溜まっ
simmering
て
for
た。
a while. The present was a mirror.
鏡
A
をくれた。
nice mirror.
はいはい、彫刻。自分が作った鏡
Kind
ね。
of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it especially for me.
うん。それでなんで口論に至ったんだろうな。
His body
死体
didn't look real.
死体の話が出てきた。
His throat.
喉鏡でってこと？
It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. As these thick.
どの厚いメガネを持って、あ、これで鏡が出てきた。メガネでね。メガネでかけてなかった。メガネはかけてなかった。かけてないみたいです。
The mirror.
The
I can't
mirror?
remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since.
うん。それ以来見てない。窓。
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped.
閉じ
She's
込められて
here.
る。
She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out.
外に出してくれない。はあ。
No, they were shut. Most of the windows were really hard to open anyway. It's stifling in summer. They were painted over by my dad.
ドアの鍵を閉め忘れたのかもしれない。
There's a cat flap in the back
猫
door.
用の入り口。わかんない。この話本当に一辺倒ですか？
Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. was a dirty weekend.
秘密の
Simon was going to expense it.
出張として経費を申請し、
I used a made-up name.
偽名を使って、
We stayed at the hotel.
はいは
Had
い
room
はい。
service. Didn't leave the room. Had a great view of the river.
鐘の音が聞こえて。
Hear the church bells. Like you said.
出張の話がどっかにあるのかな、そしたら。サイモンの。出張か。
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't
Florence.
odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road.
鐘のね。
I thought it was
そこ
like a
に
reflection in the mirror.
そこにやっぱね、反応してしまったんだよな。鐘の字、最近、鐘の字を見ると反応しがち。なんだ？なんか BGM が流れ始めたんだけど。時計。あ、これ今日かこれ。今日じゃねえな。16日じゃないもんな。なんでサウスイースト。DBZ か。あ、これデータベース何個見つけたかってやつか。めちゃめちゃあるね、これ。Read me。こいつがデータベースだ。情報公開法に沿って申請し、ゲストとしてのアクセス権を取得しておいたよ。見たところちゃんと機能しているようだな。オリジナルのビデオテープからの移行は1999年に行われたみたいだが、その後の Y2K 騒ぎやらなんやらで、こいつは放置されたままになっていたようだ。残念ながら刑事の映像が入ったサーバーの方は見つけられなかった。あるいは1997年の洪水の際にやられてしまったのかもな。何にせよこれだけでも情報としては十分なはずさ。SB Read me! Really read me! 本当に読んで。ゴミ箱あるけど。ミラータイル。ハック。ロジックデータベースについて、コンピュータテクノロジーは現代の警察活動の根幹を担うものであり、このロジックデータベースは我々の仕事の流れをデジタル化し、より活用しやすい形で証拠に保存するための試みの一つです。犯罪に対処するための最重要ツールとして、コンピュータの重要は今後も一層高まっていくことが予想されています。このデータベースには、ポーツマスの凶悪犯罪関連アーカイブより集めたビデオ映像が収納されています。データは ASR テクノロジーによって自動的に生存され、各証言は個別のクリップに分割されて保存されているため、それぞれにキーワードを追加する、タグをつけることで、法廷の提出の際などに活用することができます。クリップを取得するには、検索ボックスに言葉を入力する必要があり、言葉を入力して検索を押すと、そのままその言葉が含まれるクリップが検索されます。また、半角スペースで区切って複数の言葉を入力するということで、検索の幅を狭めることができます。なるほど。テープを文字に起こした資料などが手元にある場合は、発言の全文をダブルクォーテーションで書くことで、その発言と完全に一致するクリップを見つけ出すことも可能です。その場所にいたわ。なるほど。なるほどね。検索したクリップを後で参照したい場合は、セッションに保存をクリックしてください。またタグボックスに2のキーワードを追加しておくと、その言葉から、クリップを検索することができるようになります。はいはいはい。使い方やね。ゴミ箱見てみるか。ハック。グローブハック。なんやこれは。ミラータイル。オセロやらされてるけど。何されてるこれ。全部僕の番なんだけど。全部僕の番。 そらそうやろ。
Okay, you got me.
これが出張の話だよね。これ保存しておこうかな。出張。あれこれだけなんだ。じゃあどうなんだそれ。
Okay.
ホテル。ホテル。ホテル。ホテル。ホテル。あ、あった。
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home,
したばっ
alone
か。
together.
いや、そうでもなさそうだけどな。
Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday.
旅行が習慣になった。旅行か。
And the hotel said he was there?
ホテルの人がそう言ってるの？なるほど。あ、でも旅行はないんだ。メガネ。これだけ。なんかあるかな？気になるやつ。サイモン。死体か。死体とか。死体じゃない。死体ね。
The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body.
死体を見つけて。
I
それで。ギター弾いてね。ギター弾いてないっすか？ 1分13秒。
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I thought it was
昔の
something his
話
mum
を。
had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby.
はいはいはい。
There's some boxes in the
地
cellar,
下室に
nursery
結局
stuff,
使うことのなかった
stuff we never needed and
子供用品を入
I
れた
never
箱が
had
置い
the
てあっ
heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I looked down
た。
there
箱の
the
位
week
置がいつ
before,
もと違っていたことを
those
思い出した
boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over.
背筋に冷たいものが走って
I went down there with
こ
the
れを持って
torch
地下に降り
and went straight to the back. And that's when I
ゴミ
saw
袋を
the
見
bin
つけた
bags. Pulled them open,
中に死体が入ってた
saw the body. I screamed and that's when I called the police.
つまり自分の家で死んでたってこと？自分の家に死体があったってこと？それ
1984
1980
was
年
in
ひどい
the
年だ
end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I
ダ
lost
グ
the
と
baby
エ
in
レ
the
ノは
spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave.
すごい暑い夏だったから
So when they
発見
discovered
され
the
た時
bodies,
死
it
体は
was
ひどい状態
just
だった
awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. The forensic entomologist. I had to look that
高
up.
位昆虫学者
It was because of the heat.
そういうのあるんだな
It's just awful.
ひどい経験だった高位昆虫学者なんているんですね
Really? Okay. Here's the rest.
なんでわかってる？なんで歌ってる？ なんで歌ってる？なんで歌ってる？曲の明るさと歌詞の黒さがグロいけど歌詞クソグロいけど
Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was all the dreadful wind and rain. Anything you sing may be used as evidence against you.
バッチリ使われてますね。ギターで出てくるんだ。なんで？
No. No, Simon.
ギターなんて弾かなかった。矛盾してるって。
He wasn't very musical.
音楽を聴くのは好きだったけど、音楽的才能はなかったと。音楽の話。
Yes.
ええ。
Yeah, it's my
私の
guitar.
ギターよ。私のギター。2分半。
You want me to play something? I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. Okay. Probably needs tuning. No. It's okay. How about a traditional ballad? Should be right up your street. Sisters came walking by the sea. Oh, the wind and the rain. The eldest one pushed the other.
恐ろしい風と雨好きすぎひん。
Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
姉と妹が出てきた。
They both had a love for the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain, but he only cared for the youngest one. Oh, the dreadful wind. Oh, the eldest envied her sister fair.
さっきから曲の明るさに歌詞が
Little face and her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
歌詞がついてきてないって。
Pushed her in.
ああ、お姉さん
Wind and the rain.
お姉さん何やってる？
Watched her as she
お姉さん何やってる？マジで。
down. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
恐ろしいのは姉の方なんだけど。
Floated up and she floated down. Oh, the wind and the rain. Floated till a ship came by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Out comes the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. Father dear,
動画を読むその横で。
swan. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And then it gets really weird, so I think that's a good place.
この後は変な展開になるとかやめとこう。 あ、で、これでさっきのに繋がるんだな。こんばんは。どうもいらっしゃいませ。金本くんの考えた歌詞もこんなもんでしょ。やめて。風評被害です。僕が書く歌詞は、めちゃめちゃ秘伝です。秘伝ですけど、ここまでグロくはないはずなんですけど。なんかこういう直接的な歌詞じゃない気がするんですけど、僕のは。わからないですけどね。さて、今のデータベース見たら、実績解除しちゃったな。一番最初のやつがないな。あ、そうか。この人の名前を検索してないや、そういえば。花。うなだれてるけど。何？なぜイブのことなんて話すの？イブ。どうしたそれ。すごっ。かわいそうなサイモン、この人の。おお。なんかいきなり出てきたな。やばそうな雰囲気。イブさんっていう名前が出てきたな。おそらく妹さんの名前なのでは？
Yes.
嘘発見器使ってる。
Oh, shit. Sorry. Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born,
私と花。
I
ちょ
was
っ
born
と
at
待っ
the
て。
same time.
待って。私と花は同時に生まれて。お前が花じゃなかったん？
The midwife was there to help.
まさか。
I'd been throttled by the cord,
でも私の首にへその緒が巻きついていたため、
the midwife
彼女は私が死んでいると母に告げたの。
But I wasn't.
でもそれは嘘だった。
She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper. 違う。そう、双子だと思うんだけど、この人自分のことを花って言ったのね。最初の自己紹介の時に。なら、どうして私と花が同時に生まれたっていう言い方をするの？ She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play.
人形の家だと置いてある家の屋根裏に
She hid me up
私を
there.
隠した。
No one else ever went into the attic.
花の遊び場だったの。他の誰も立ち入らなかった。イブ。
Well,
友達のイブ
my
にね。
friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid, and she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
でもさっき嘘発見器のシーンで花スミスですって言ってしまったって言ってるから、多分自分と別の誰かをその別の誰かになり変わりながら、別の何かに花になり変わりながら生きてきたんじゃないの、この人。だからこの人の名前が知りたい、僕。
Yes.
本当の名前
In
が
a fight.
喧嘩したわ。
We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's
ビーチで喧嘩してイブの
head
顔を
under water.
水の中に押し付けた。さっきの
There was no
話
one
やん。
else around, was at the far end of the
マリー
beach.
ナ誰もいなかった。
I held her head under
彼女の頭を押さえつけな
and
が
I
ら
kept it out. And for a moment,
不意にこのまま窒息させて殺してしまいたいと思った。さっき
I
の歌や
watched her drown. But that was it.
でも
It
そう
was
思っ
just
た
a
の一
moment.
瞬で
We made up after.
仲直りし
It
た。
was a love-hate relationship.
よく許せたな。愛情混ざった関係だった。
A police station. Yeah. When I was young,
若い頃にね。
we ran away on my birthday.
誕生日に家出したの。
Bob Dylan.
ボブ・ディラン。
ン
有名人の名前が出てきた。
Us with him.
ツアーバスに押し入れようとした。
A taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police.
はいはいはい。
So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station.
私は責任をすべてイブになすりつけたから
My
最悪。
parents let me off.
お前最低だよ。
My mother called me Eve.
母は私をイブと呼んだ。金本くんが下上本くんで死んじゃうんじゃないかと思ってるわ。舌は噛んでるけど、本当に噛んではないからな。え？舌噛んでないよ。何？どういうこと？わかんない。わかんないわかんないわかんない。母。
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything, though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till. I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way.
女の子が生まれる予定で。
We were going to call her Sarah.
サラ
Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana.
AVA とか言って
But
エ
I
ヴァに
didn't
したい
want
と
her
思
to
った。
have a
左右
Sarah
対称の名
call
前
me.
にしたくなかった。なんで？なんで左右対称そんなに嫌い？他に何かあるかな？助産師とか。まあ、これはないな。サラ。サラじゃない。サラ。はここだけか。まあ、エヴァ。これもこれだけ。左右対称 ?2 件だけ。ちなみになんだけど僕このゲームのゴールが今のところ分かってないんだけど、どうすればいいのかな？どうなればいいのか分かんないね。1個のファイルが見つかりません。移動できるんだこれ。どっかにあるはずなんだけどな。クリティカルなやつがどっかにあるのかな。さて何しよう。何を検索しようかな。双子とか あった。
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
なんか今警察来た効果音で。
Are you out of your mind? Twins?
Twins? あくまでも自分が
There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other
双子
characters
では
in
な
their
いと
stories.
言い切ってる。
We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our
屋
attic.
根裏。
Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things. When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
離婚。屋根裏。あと妹とか調べてみたい気もする。屋根裏密件。
Yes.
地下室も調べてみるか。
I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, a dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time.
すぐに改装したん
We
だ。
decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
うんうんうん。
Yes, I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to
Study.
stay up there and make up our own stories.
イブのことかな。
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean,
他のものの毛ではある。
we have a lot of dolls in the attic.
人形がいっぱいあ
There's a
るし。
Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
なんか証拠みたいな感じなのかな。
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from.
人形の家がたび
Don't
た
know
び
if
出
it
てく
was
るな。
given to them or they inherited it. And they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale. Little furniture. The lights work. Mirrors, beds. Big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all.
彼らのパスポートや日記まで作って、
Diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories.
すごい二次創作の神いる。
A moth got trapped in there. We
ガ
left
が
the
入り
lights
込んだ
on.
ことがあって。
It was making the most horrendous noise.
はいはいはい。
We tried to kill it, but it
な
was
かなか
tough.
死ななかったので。
We ended up crushing it under a copy
アラ
of
ビアン
the
ナイ
Arabian
トの本を使っ
Nights.
て。なんかこの人童話とかめちゃめちゃ好きやな。妹。2件だけなんだ。
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face. She knew.
つまり
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this
これがどっちなのか分かんない。
you didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face.
この彼女が誰のことを指してるのかわからん。花か？花だな。おそらく花。こいつは誰なんだって。あれ？同じ結果か。地下室。不自然だね、点ばかり。これ死体の箱ってか袋の話？キッチンにあったものだと思う。うんうん。キノコを栽培していた。
The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape, but I think it was ours.
家にあったもので捨てられてたってこと？家の中に。
Fine, considering.
何やってる？
I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. I mean, worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't lived in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out.
結構凄惨な。
And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So. It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost
暗黙のうちに了解しちゃった。
silently. The baby was what mattered.
大事なのは赤ちゃんで、赤ちゃんっていうのがだいぶキーワードっぽいな。
We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken
血
mirror.
に染まった服を
her
袋に
clothes.
詰めて部屋をきれいにし、
We took him down to
彼
the
を地下
cellar.
室に運んだ。ん？
We knew
アリバイを証明できることは分かっていたから。
had an alibi.
は？ああ。
And we wanted the body to
結
be
局やっとるやんけ
found
こいつが。
later. We wanted to have
自
suspicion
分たちに
on us
疑惑を向け
so
さ
we
せ
could
た
then
上で。
disprove it rather than have it linger.
はい。
Better to keep the body in the
ま
house
ずは
than
死
risk
体を
being
隠
seen
すこ
with
と
it.
です。
The watch. That was my touch
時計は私のアイデア。
to make sure the alibi stuck.
時計。時計。時計あるね。これ明らかに今日の時刻じゃないんだよな。時間は今日、時間もちょっと違うな。ずれてるな。時計。
He was wearing a shirt. It's a blue turtleneck shirt.
あ、これはあれか。失踪当日じゃ
It
ない
has a
の。
watch.
そうだね。失踪当日の話をしてる。
It's a gift from his boss, Eric.
エリック。
He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat.
ダッフルコートを着てる。
It's there. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house.
アリバイでも検索してみたいな。
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift.
はいはいはい。
Steel.
結婚記念日ね。
It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste.
ダイアンはエリッ
That
クのあれかな。
time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
あ、時間のことに研究してる。アリバイを証明しようとするために。アリバイ。あ、これだけ。時間。
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And I... Excuse me. Is there a bin?
入っちゃった。思い出したんだな。
I didn't. I slept in the car. I left about 9 that night. I wasn't there.
時間が合わないわ。だから多分なんか死体の
That should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
だから死亡推定時刻と合わないっていう話をしてるのかな、時間が。
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. But he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric.
エリックからの電話。
Then I was just exhausted. So I lay
その
down
エリッ
in
クから
bed
の電話の内容は
and
何だったん
sleep,
だ。
though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. Eleanor?
うんうん。あとはなんだ、赤ちゃんとかキッチン。
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity.
学校を辞めて結構若
He
い。
moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope. From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later.
誕生日もあるんだ。
I got to work, had some birthday cake, children sang me happy birthday.
職場。
Then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway.
子供が
and
関係
Simon
する
gave me
職
his
場なのかな。
present, which I didn't mind.
教師とか
And after that, we talked about the baby.
保育
Turned
士とか
into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
うん。あとなんだっけ、人形の家とかあれ人形の家。ああ、これはない。じゃあ人形はこれもない。ブロンド。髪が出てきた。
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build.
サイモンの特徴がこれ。
If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. It's a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have. This other person doesn't exist.
もう一人の人物。
I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it
ブロ
could
ッ
be
トのウィッグがなん
anything.
だって。
Have you looked at the cat flap?
猫の入り口。猫の入り口、何の関係？猫。そっちじゃない、猫。何の関係があるんだ、それ。
No, no cat. My parents
Domino.
had a cat before they died called Domino. It was this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it.
猫用の入り口。
When we weren't together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out a code that we'd learned from a book. The knock code.
戦争中の捕虜が使ってたっていう
Something
ね。
prisoners of war would use. We'd tap them out on
あ、
radiator pipes or the attic floor.
さっきのやつ？もしかして。モールス信号？
Dad thought we had mice, but they couldn't find any. Bought a cat anyway.
すまねえ、モールス信号はさっぱりなんだ。
We loved our cat, Domino.
Ah.
He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing
いや
birds in the
これ
garden.
この
We used to write
7
each
月
other
3日
notes,
の人
put
間
them in the
は
bell, and
肌じゃ
we'd
ないな、
sing
やっ
to
ぱ
each
り。
other.
別人か、
Mum
これ。
found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so
どうなん？
she didn't quite understand them anyway.
本当に、どうなん？マジで別人。信号。さっきモールス信号の時、なんだっけ？なんて言ってたっけな。これか。これ、ちょっと保存しとこう。秘密。
I hoover, I dust every week, maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust, and she said, if people ask, tell them you do it once a week.
週に1回は掃除してるって答え
It's
たっけ？
okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day. Ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is.
掃除はあんまり好きじゃない。
She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books.
陶器の像。
Cigarettes
その中
inside.
にタバコを
And
入
she
れて
still
た。
has them. And last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage, and she still has a secret like that. It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon.
経費を使ってオックスフォードでロマンチックな週末を過ごしたことが彼が殺された原因だとでも。経費ね。経費はでもないか。あれか、ホテル行ったって話だよね。さて、あとどれかな。どんなもん。 あとは調べてないの。ああ、結構ある。
They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that. But, I mean, the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone. And no one had any reason to hurt them. Must think it's very cool that their dad is a police detective.
その一言だけのクリップなんだこれ。
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight.
君の名は状態なんだけど。
If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought.
空想の友達のイブ。
And that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear and she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. My mum was amazed.
やっぱ双子よな。双子でイブが友達ではなく、やっぱこれイブか。これイブか。花。でもどうなの？この人たちは、こっちの左側の人たちは、イブが花スミスとして生きていた姿なのか、それともマジの別人なのかがわかんないね。別人っていうか、その花自身、花本人。こっちは多分花として過ごしてたイブなんだけど、こっちもイブなのかがわからないね。最初から最後までイブだったのかわからない。これデータベースチェッカー見ると多分これ時系列順に並んでるんだと思うけどさ、最初の最初が見つからないんだよな。
I haven't been into work. I guess I've just been waiting, ready to hear from you, hear from my husband.
おっと。
When you've been married for 10 years, stuff accumulates. You could argue about anything. And he's so nice. That doesn't help. He tries to smooth things over, and that just makes it worse. We're both passive aggressive, so we never normally argue directly about anything.
あと何調べてない？口喧嘩とかも調べてない。口論。
Yes.
いや、口論は調べたか。喧嘩か？喧嘩は調べてないか。
I won't be sick again. This happens some days. I'm pregnant. This morning sickness.
ああ。座りの方か。
When you suspect someone of murdering their husband.
失踪。あ、結婚は結構ワードがある。
A long time.
A long time.
We got married when I was 17.
17歳で結婚した。結構、そうしたら結構長くない？
Childhood sweethearts. Something like that. Are you married, detective? I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room. And they decided we should get married. I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to Come Back and Stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us.
いいね。世界には私たち2人しかいないようになったって。これ結局時系列の最初の方が出てくるからさ、結構この絞り込みで2つ目のワードとかをいい感じに探していかないと後ろの方多分一生見つかんないんだよな。ここら辺が多分重要なんだよね、情報としては。モールス信号とかで出てくる？出てこねえ。それはそうか。妊娠ってワードは？妊娠ってワードで新しいの出てくるわ。
No. I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months.
流産した。
We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
ああ。
No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
「共犯」ないか。容疑。
Okay. So you want to eliminate me as a suspect? This is the third day running you've called me in.
お、4月2日初めてじゃない？
Every day.
そうでもないか。
They say you've been asking a lot of questions about me. Should I be worried? Am I a suspect?
タグ。容疑者なの？そら容疑者でしょうよ。
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them. I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner
給食を作る仕事を紹介されて。
They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison
料理は
the
下手でも
kids.
食中毒さえ起こさなければいい。
So you see,
そん
it's
な
always been complicated between me and Simon.
そんなんでいいんですか？
It's never just been the two of us. There's always been pressure.
仕事、仕事、仕事。お、あった。
A mobile phone?
電話？
Yeah. Well, they have one for the Glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number.
番号は覚えてないけど。
It's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle. Yes, there's a car that we share.
Cavalier.
Cavalier. And a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it.
エリックね。
Both of them are there now, parked on the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
エリック。エリックとか電話はどう？あ、エリックあるやん。
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa.
ビザ
Silver one.
ビザカード
He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
ダイアンダイアンもいるか。ダイアンダイアンじゃないダイアンです。ああ、ギター持ってる。なんで？
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there. I mean, not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off Seedfax, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten
フェ
fennel?
ンネルって何？フェンネルって食べたことある？フェンネルって何？
Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. They get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
ダイアンに聞いたら？
Sure. Yes, of course, if that would help. Will you phone the house to let me know when you want to come round? Then I can make sure that I'm there.
やけに笑顔じゃないお前。失踪当日だろ？
Something must have happened to him on his way home. He could be hurt. I mean, why hasn't he phoned? I don't know.
本当に何がどうなってるか。金曜日はないんだ。金曜はある。
I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car.
いいえね。だいぶ前半は埋まってきたな。でもやっぱ後半が埋まらないんだよな。名前とか。あら。
My name. That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works.
嘘発見器。
Yes. I'll take a lie detector test.
5秒。
I've never taken a lie detector test before. Does it really work?
これ正確なの？ああ、でも名前出てこなかったな。間違えたらあそこだけね。発見。嘘発見器しか出てこなかった。 あとなんだろうな。袋調べたか。なんかあるかな、キーワード。本当に一番最初がわかんないんだよな。一番最初、なんて言うだろうな、一番最初。事情聴取の一番最初。でも自分の名前じゃなかったんだよな。人で出てくる。
Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life.
人生最悪だ。人生で出てきたんだな、これ。
My parents.
流産した上に両親が亡くなった。ああ、そういう年だったのか。両親。これはあんま違うか。親。ビャ親。これも一緒だな。彼。
Suicide? No. I mean, he would never do anything like that. He is not the
自
kind of
殺か。
person to do anything like that.
自殺とかいう線もあるのか。
No.
自殺。ああ、でもここしか言及してないんだな。他殺でもない。他殺。そもそも殺っていう字。
What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
あれ、赤ちゃんって赤ちゃんじゃない、赤ちゃんって、ああ、13個もあるんだ。さっき何検索したんだっけ。殺すっていう字ね。浮気。ああ、結構ある。
She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman.
赤ちゃん。
But it's okay because she
彼
finds
女が見
out
たのは
it
実は
wasn't
夫
her
じゃなくて
husband,
彼の弟
it
だ。
was his brother. And so it's
だ
fine.
から問題ない。ああ、なんかここでほのめかしてね、
An affair.
双子とかいうワードを。
Simon wasn't having an affair.
浮気なんてしないわ。すごい自信。
No, I have never been unfaithful.
浮気したことも
I've
な
never
い。
cheated on Simon.
うん。
Have I ever cheated on Simon? You asked that question yesterday.
昨日も聞いたわよ。同じこと聞いてどうする
Simon never cheated
さ
on
れたこ
me.
ともない。
He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other.
支え合っ
Life
て
isn't
た。
a fairy tale. You do what you can.
うん。はあ。さて。あと2つあるんだよな、浮気に関する文字列が。動画が2つあるんだよな。事情。
I thought thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now.
だって彼は
No, he's...
グラスゴーをやってなかったな。グラスゴー。
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
今ちょうど親フラが登場したけど見れなかったんだよな。
I got in the car.
車に乗って走り出した。遠くに行きたくて。
Finally. Yes. I got to Glasgow. I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then headed back.
公衆電話から電話をかけ。だからつまりこいつはだから口論した後車でグラスゴーまで行ってって言ってたっていうのを隠してたんだよね多分。
No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning.
目撃者がいるかどうかってことかな。
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving
タクシーにぶつかってしまった。
badly.
事故してるやん。
Taxi. Not a big
ちょっと
crash.
コスト立ちぐらいだけど。
Didn't work. The guy was so pissed off.
免許を持っていなかったので
Driving
向こうは
lessons
すご
on
く
me.
怒ってた。
But when I told him I was pregnant,
妊娠してるというと心配されて
he
病院
made
に行
sure
く
I
と。
got to the hospital so they could check me out.
そんな簡単
It
な
was
ことある
fine.
異常はなかったけど。
The hospital must have details
病
on
院に
how
は
I
記
lived
録が残っ
that.
てるはず。
There's a scratch on the car.
車に傷もね。病院。はい何どんな感じだ終わったのかいや。終わったら教えてくれ。勝手に切られた。なんだってんだ。
Asked the hospital.
病院に連絡して。
I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital?
病院には連絡した？
It's like I told you before. I drove. I took the car and drove. I don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think, put some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
花の方が大事。サイモンよりも。 連絡。
Sure, I think. I do all the bills and paperwork and handle all the money stuff, so it should be easy for me to find. Do you want them dropped off to you?
花とイブ。花で何個引っかかるんだっけ？ 19 個か。これは引っかかんないんだよな。花、電話。引っかかんない。公衆。これもないか。公衆電話もないと。えああ、そっか。何も打たずに検索すれば全部出てくるのか、これ。一番最初出てきたわ。
Black coffee, thanks. No sugar.
甘さは
Sweet
十
enough
分。
as it is.
何甘さって。一番最初出てきた。何甘さって。ブラックコーヒー。あ、でも確かになんか、ブラックコーヒーだったの？めちゃめちゃだって、砂糖入れてたやん。溺れるぐらい砂糖入れてたやん。甘さは足りてるって何？そのなんかダブルクォーテーションで書うの何
？Black no sugar. Thanks. About 8 years back, it was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up. I think they say you can have 1 cup. No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water.
水をちょうだい。冷たい水をください。できたら愛してください。
No, no one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone summoned you from the rock.
砂糖とか。砂糖じゃないです。砂糖。
A cup of tea would be good, thanks. Just
こ
1
の日は
sugar.
紅茶なんだ。なんで？
Just the 1 sugar. Thanks. Is that camera recording? Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
砂糖を選んでる日とコーヒー選んでる日で。あ、ってことはこれ入れ替わってる？もしかして入れ替わってる？初日と27日と1日。1日なんで服変わってんだ途中で。コール。 これ言ってみる？いや。勝手に文字変えられるんだけど。勝手に文字変えられたって。じゃあ、あとは何を見ているかな。何があると思うかな、これ。他にあるかな、入り口とか。ないか。凶器とか？犯行じゃないです。犯行、いや、一緒。なんかそれっぽい単語は引っかからないんだよな。音楽。ないか。タクシー。ヘイタクシー。ああ、ぶつかった時だけか。事故。
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't
実の母ではない。
So I burned the diary that day and I left.
日記を燃やし、
Walked out.
家を出て通りの向こうへ歩いていった。
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
夢日記やん。日記あるね。
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, just gives you perspective.
いい、日記を書くとかいうあれないからな。日記を書くとかいう習慣ないな。
Florence was a warm,
フローレンスあったな、話として。
but she was broken.
どこか壊れていた。When I
found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin
はいはいはい。
with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there.
彼女の過去を知った。
I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family.
夢か。
But her husband died in the war.
戦争。
And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow.
ああ、戦死者を敬うという意味もあった。時代だね。
I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
フローレンス。
Florence took me home with her. mother, hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up, take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
ってことはフローレンスに引き取られたのかな？こっちはイブかな？
It was just me and her.
故障イブ。
Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
夢ある。
No, I was 15. Carl was
なんか新しい人の名前出てきた。カールって
17, I think.
誰？カール。
I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. It's stupid.
じゃあ並行してしまう。
So he got tired of us.
口を閉じてしまうけど。
We split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
ファミリー？家族か。
We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
戦争。あ、これはない。おとぎ話か。あ、結構出てくるじゃん。
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite.
ラプンツェル結構話出てくるね。なんで
How many of these in colour?
なんでラプンツェルなんだろうな。確かになんか塔がうんぬんかんぬんみたいなあ
I
れだっ
worked
た
there
しね。
some weekends, and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look.
彼の顔。王子様そのものだっ
Like
た。
a fairy tale prince from
はいはい。
Fanbox.
一目惚れやん。一目惚れやんけ。
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me.
フローレンかな？フローレンス。
Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale. Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors, and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories.
育て。ふむ。あとなんだ、カールが出てきたか。カール。カール。
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy.
バンドのメンバー。
He was a bit of a shit.
やっぱバンドマンとは付き合うなって言われてるからな。私たちが、タチ。なんでタチって出てきた今。
Family.
ファミリー。
So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon. Differences?
相違点。
She's a better driver
じゃあ
than
彼
me.
女の方が上手。
She passed the test for us.
だから免許は彼
I
女だ
tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything.
ああ、だから双子で。
She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin.
あら。
She had lots of excuses.
なるほど。
After a while, we decided that I should
あれ
take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise,
あ、
pulling a tooth,
あざの話あ
a
ったな。
graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon. Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started
会社がいいから
didn't want to share.
あざ治るの早いんだって言っ
Even
て
the
たよ
first
な。
date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another Carl on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
つまりそれが動機ってこと？つまりそれが動機ってこと？何を検索しようか忘れちゃったな。しかも結構入れ替わってたな、この漢字見ると。だいぶ頻繁に入れ替わってたんだな。
Bruce. Oh, yeah, no, it's nothing. I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen and the chair slipped and I kind of hit the door with my face. It hurt like hell. If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise.
運命同意
When
体
I
やん。
lost my tooth first, we had to pull our Hannah's to match. Once, I slept with a boy who was seeing another girl. The girlfriend came up to Hannah the next day and punched her in the face, gave her a huge black eye. that night, she had to do the same to me. But she almost went too far. I couldn't stand about eye for days.
えぐ。
She snuck a frozen piece up for me from the kitchen. So much of our bodies was synchronized anyway. We started our period on the same day.
はい。
Childhood diseases, stomach bugs, knits.
都合のいい。都合がいい。このなんか地下ってちょっと画面が暗くなるのがなんか物語が進展したみたいなあれなのかな。でもだいぶ埋まったよな。なんか虫食い結構虫食いだけどでもだいぶ分かったよ。結構そういう動機だよね。
No, he was as shy as me. I asked a friend to
友
ask
達
him
に
out
紹
for
介してもら
me.
った。
We had our first date at the Odeon in North
Ah.
Island. We went to see Risky Business. I had on my one best dress. Simon paid. He bought me a whisper, and I was worried about getting chocolate on my teeth.
同期してるから入れ替わるのが怖いから、入れ替わった時に証拠が残るのが怖いからってことか、これ。しかも友達ってことにしてるんだな、これ、イブのことを。で、映画とかそうないか。デートとかないか。あと何言ったっけ？あざやった。歯抜いた。病気？
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends.
うん。これ終わったって言ったらどうなるんだろう。言えない。二文字しか言えなかった。え？君の母さんがなぜあんなことをしたのか。え？打てないんだけど。 ならよかったよ、サラ。外で待ってるからログオフして出てきてくれ。え、サラってだって花の娘じゃないの、名前。ログオフするとどうなるこれ。ああ、エンディングや。いや、これ全部集めたいけど、映像。結局殺したのはイブだよな。イブが殺して、花の方はちゃんと生まれたのか。で、さらにしたのかな。でも君のお母さんはって言ったよな。どういうこと？つまりどういうことだってばよ。分かってないって。まだ謎が解き終わってないけど、全然だとしたら話が違ってくるじゃん。僕がサラだったんだったら、僕がサラだったんだとしたら、話が違ってくるじゃないか。あれ、流産したのってどっちだ？流産したのってイブか？Sorry if you start 読めなかった。アドミンコンティニュー。あるいっぱい。
They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
これは砂糖の方だからイブか。
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications. Hannah had a miscarriage.
花は流産して。
This was late in the pregnancy.
子供の産めないからだ。
It left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then
そして何？はあ、見えない。
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch,
めちゃめちゃ気になるんだけど、このゲーム。
parents and keeps her locked up in this tower.
エンディングを見てしまったことによってさらに中身が気になってしまった。
So she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much? Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember, well, I went over the river, and then there was a church there. Yeah. And I probably...
プリンセスストーリー。
Well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. There it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There. Yes. I always pull it shut and then lock the bigger lock with the key. No. I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
結局流産して
Then my parents died.
子供産めなくなったって言って、そっからまた妊娠できたの？
I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Ah, そっかー。そうなのか。妊娠してたのは花田の方だと思ってたけど、本当はイブだったんだな。で、サラって名付けたのか、これで。
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
じゃあなんで殺したんだ？サイモンを殺す理由。わからん。わからんけど。これ以上は 自分の目で確かめてくれってやつやな。そっかー。いやでも結局わからん。結局わからん。僕はてっきり花が妊娠したからイブが憎しで殺したのかなと思ったけど、そうじゃなかったんだ。1回目の妊娠が流産した結果子供産めないって言われて、その後イブの方で妊娠しちゃったんだ。そしたら奇跡の妊娠だもんな。サイモンには伝えてなかったな、その出来事を。
Can you imagine? I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up.
身勝手な行
Set
動
us
の
down
せい。
separate paths. We had become different.
ここに二人が一人が二人に分かれたんだ。
No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again.
別々に暮らし始めた。
I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist.
まるでドッペルゲンガーだな。
I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished.
17歳で
It
や
was
ることじゃ
Hannah
ない
who
よ。
betrayed us.
裏切ったのは花。裏切りね。
I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my
お
reflection
互いが別人に
she
見え
didn't
た。
look like me. She
あ
was
あ。
fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
一人。はあ、なるほど。なるほど。いやー、でも他わかんねえな。 もっとクリティカルな部分があるんでしょうね、これね。別々。ウィッグってあったな、ウィッグ。ウィッグ見てみよう。ないかな？あるわ。めちゃめちゃある。
A wig? You mean... What type of wig? No, I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig? This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry, the kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
なるほどね。いやでも終わり時を見失った今終わり時を見失ったけどどうしようこれ。さすがに終わっとくか。ハーストーリー。いやこれ今 75% 以上のアクセスを完了したの実績がですね残ってるんですけど、それが表示されてないのでまだ4分の2がちょっと過ぎたぐらい。4分の3いってない。でももうそろそろ多分4分の3なんだろう。あと何個か見れば多分4分の3だと思うんだけどずっと今日はこの辺で終わっておくか。このゲームの続きをやるかどうかはちょっと考えておこう。明らかに時間がかかるし、全部 100% 目指そうとすると。一応なんか、クリティカルな最後の部分言ってないから、行こうかなとは思うんだが、まあ、このゲーム、興味があったらやってみてくださいの感じですね。というわけで、本日の配信はここまでにしようかなと思います。よろしければ皆様、チャンネル登録、Twitter のフォロー、高評価と何卒よろしくお願いいたします。それでは、また次回お会いいたしましょう。お疲れ様でした。またね。